Right, welcome to this Codex review for ASTRA Militarum, or Imperial Guard as they used to be called. One of the first armies really that we, or James and I, collected for 40k. I know the Codex has been out for a while, but there's a lot of interest out there in collecting Imperial Guard, one of the big factions to collect. But difficult though, a lot of people struggle with them. Down through the years I've been playing 40k, Imperial Guard players have experimented and tried to find different ways of making the army work. So the main collection for Imperial Guard is James's. I've sort of handed it over to him. I used to collect a lot of Imperial Guard, that grey colour scheme, grey black sort of colour scheme you see on the channel. I started painting those years ago, and then James has sort of taken over the collection and expanded it, made it bigger to what you see it today. So what we're going to do in this video is review the Codex. I'm going to go through units that I think will be good in different combinations and so on, and that will give you an idea of how to put an army together. And then maybe in the future I might play Imperial Guard myself. I haven't actually used them for a fair long time. James is sort of running the Imperial or Imperium sort of forces at the moment. I'm running the other stuff like Elder and Necrons and so on. But I have always liked the Imperial Guard. I just call them Imperial Guard. I've always liked them. Like the way that they look and the options for doing different paint schemes and styles. And you really can do different styles. You can theme your army and do it in different ways. But we're going to review the Codex here just to take a look at the different units and see how good they are. So I've got mine from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop stuff at 15% off. And then if your order comes to over £100, I think they give you an extra 5% off on top of that. And then if you're in the UK, if your order comes to over £40, you get free postage on top of that as well. So that's where I've got mine from, gamingfigures.com. And this one is the soft cover version of the Codex. So unique one that really, because there is an Imperial Guard collection already there, and there's loads of units to choose from that myself and James have painted up over the years. So if I go about putting together an Imperial Guard army, it'll probably be from that collection, and then maybe add a few bits to it. But try and approach it in a fresh way. So I'm thinking, how would I put an Imperial Guard army together? And I try and build the list so they're all rounders. They're able to fight all different types of armies. So I've got to build it so it can, a list that can fight hordes or it can fight elite. It's got to have elements to be able to deal with all different types. And I find that more of a fun challenge. You're able to build an army that's diverse enough to take on whatever opponent. You're not sure what your opponent's going to be. On the channels, both the channels, we try and leave it as a bit of a surprise in a lot of the games. So you're not list tailoring to try and fit an opponent. That what they've got. So I'm going to try and build a list, but it's going to be fun, and I want it to have that Imperial Guard kind of feel to it as well. So just the artwork on there. It's Commissar or Lord Commissar on the front there, and sort of influenced our paint schemes. This is battle-worn kind of campaign seasoned look. With the paint scheme that we have, it's that kind of look that we've gone for. So that it's the zigzag sort of grey and black colour scheme you see on the tanks. And the grey dirty uniforms and all the chipping sort of effect helps to make a rugged kind of look. I think that suits Imperial Guard really well. Didn't want that kind of parade ground, clean cut finish, but it's kind of tatty kind of look. I think looks really good, especially when fighting in ruins and so on. So that's what we went for with the Guard. And then just still discussing paint schemes. You have something like the Elder, so bright and different colours. I want something different for the Guards. It's kind of this drab uniform kind of look, regimented kind of, so no one man sticks out too much, or one unit sticks out too much against the others. They're all rank and file. All the vehicles are sort of similar as well, and it gives you that kind of regimental sort of feel. So that's the kind of colour scheme we went for. There is a full painting tutorial for Imperial Guard on the channel, so you can go onto the painting tutorial section and I'll show you from start to finish how to paint a guardsman there, and it's exactly the same technique used there as we do for the vehicles as well. So just open up here. It's not the only colour scheme. There's a lot of diversity of Imperial Guard to go for different colour schemes. The Cadian sort of colour scheme they have is nice, but we wanted to do our own. Again, that rugged kind of feel to them. So Imperial Guard is, or ASTRA MILITARUM, it's waves and waves of infantry. You know, the first wave comes through and they get mowed down, the next wave, and it's sort of linking back to sort of a Russian Army World War II kind of influence there. So you've got droves and droves of infantry and then hordes of tanks as well. And you know, fluff-wise, building an army, that's the sort of theme I think I'd want to go for Imperial Guard. And then, so tanks and infantry, I know it sounds sort of boring, but you know, other armies can have all the flashy type of units, but for Imperial Guard I sort of would want to have a kind of regimented sort of feel to the force. So just thinking about it, I'm just kind of thinking the way the Russians were of a theme, your infantry working together with tanks, and those tanks being used to take on armour and then also to break enemy defences open as well. So an aggressive attack with tanks, and at the back you've got your artillery and your anti-tank guns, so which would be your sort of heavy weapons teams for Warhammer 40,000 for the Imperial Guard. I think basing it on that would be fun. I love to see echoes of history in 40k armies, and Games Workshop do that anyway. They do base factions and so on. There's hints of history and names and ideas and things being used in that. So that's the kind of look. Maybe 3 levels to it, infantry, tanks, and then behind that the back line of the artillery supporting fire rockets and artillery being fired over the top. That can. So then the army has the aggressive option that you can attack aggressively, use your artillery to cover the attack, or if you find yourself on the defensive, the tanks and infantry hold back and then mount the defence instead. So that's how I'd see using the Imperial Guard. There's not many units that are sort of fast units that can nip in towards the end of the game, so if you are going to be aggressive to take on objectives, maybe it's going to have to be like a general advance, a steady turn by turn advance. That's going to get you to the enemy objectives. That kind of idea I think would work pretty good. So to do that, I don't think you're going to spend, I wouldn't want to spend too much on HQs and then try and, you know, invest the points in bulking the army right up. There's so much stuff your opponent can't deal with. It would be the sort of idea. Just the background story to them here. Again, look, droves of infantry surging ahead. Just so many of them. Again, infantry here, tanks in support. Just some tanks there in the background. Infantry holding the trenches here, fighting the jungles. Right, so these are the different types, and I'm just going to throw this out there. It'd be a dream come true if Games Workshop did plastic sets for all of these, and I think they would sell incredibly well. If Games Workshop did plastic sets, imagine plastic Talaron Desert Raiders. You know, you've got the tanks and the vehicles already there. They can maybe do an accessories sprue to make it like the desert stuff, camo netting and so on. But then to do plastic box sets of Talaron Desert Raiders, it would be too hard. Heavy weapons team maybe, and then just your standard, you know, your 10-man box for your squads. They'd look utterly amazing. Death Corps of Krieg in plastic would look brilliant. Ice Warriors of Valhalla would look utterly superb. And you've got Elysian Drop Troops, I think it looks brilliant. Mordian Iron Guard would look absolutely brilliant. And then Armageddon Steel Legion. I mean, all of these I think would look absolutely excellent. So I wish they would do it. Maybe they're planning to. Maybe leave your comments as to what you think of that. But it would just open out Imperial Guard to give you so many options. You can have such great fun. I would if they did plastic Talaron Desert Raiders, I think I would. Yeah, I think I would collect those without much hesitation. Just look brilliant. Just moving through here. So onto the rules then. Your Warlord traits table here. The Codex is sort of the older format, so the layout's slightly different to the newer ones here. So you've got just restrictions there. And if your Warlord is a tank commander, you must roll D3 on the table instead. Warlord rolls D6. We'll go through those to see how good they are. Usually it's at the end, but we'll run through those now. And again, just showing you another picture, droves of infantry, and it's not just a few, it's deep ranks of infantry. The only way to achieve that for 1850 points is to be careful on the upgrades to keep them cheap. So just bearing that in mind. And then look, tanks in the background, and look what's firing over the top here, rockets. coming in from way behind. So see that's the kind of feel I'm getting for Imperial Guard. Hordes of infantry, tank support, and then artillery support bombarding and softening up the opponent there. And I think it's a good way of playing, good fun way of playing. But it's just a matter of finding an army combination that does that well. So that's why we're going to look at the different units here. So warlord traits then. So grand strategist, nominate D3 units in your primary detachment. These units can the outflank. That's handy enough. Wouldn't complain at that. Actually really good. You know, if that counts, if a unit counts as a squadron, then maybe, you know, a couple of squadrons of tanks that you have, you can outflank them. Brilliant. So that's good. Old grudges during deployment, before deploying infiltrators and before scouts redeploy. Choose one Warhammer 40,000 Codex. The warlord and his unit have the preferred enemy special against all enemy units chosen from that Codex. That's decent enough. Your warlord. Okay, handy if it's a tank commander. Draconian Disciplinarian. For any units from the Codex within 12, do not take morale tests for suffering 25% or more casualties. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so that's very good as well. Implacable Determination. The warlord and his unit have the Relentless Special War rule, so good for an infantry unit of some kind. Not sure how handy that would be. Bellowing Voice. Your warlord has the voice of command special rule. If your warlord already has the voice of command, he can issue orders to friendly units that are within 18, so I think it extends his range there. That's okay. So we're looking at two really good ones at the moment. Then Master of Command. Your lord has the voice of command special rule. If your lord already has that rule, he can issue one additional order each turn. Sounds okay. So there's a couple of good ones on there. If you're on re-rolls, then there's a good chance of getting a decent one. So wouldn't really hold back at using that. Sounds pretty good. Right, so then we're on to orders. It can be seen as complicated. It's good to get it right, but it's good to get it right because it can benefit in the game. Orders for Imperial Guard are pretty cool. So it's good to be well drilled in the orders, that who can give what orders and what those orders are and what they can do. It just adds, it will enhance your force. It's worth getting them right. So a model with special rule is known as an officer. An officer can issue one order each turn. Orders are issued and their effects resolved at the start of your shooting phase. If you have more than one officer, or you have an officer that has a special rule allowing it to issue more than one order a turn, issue and resolve each order one at a time. An officer can attempt to issue an order provided he is not locked in combat, so there's a restriction there, embarked in a vehicle or building, falling back, or has gone to ground. Issuing an order does not prevent the officer's unit from acting, shooting, running later in that phase. Right, so there's a restriction there as well if you're embarked in a vehicle or building. Interesting. So you can easily miss that. Yeah, you got them in a bunker and you think I'll give out my orders, but actually not allowed. Issue an order. To issue an order, declare the order your officer has attempted to issue and select a friendly non-vehicle unit. Within 12, it can be the officer's own unit if you wish. So this is showing me you've got to have your coherency here. Your army's got to have your officers distributed around, working together so that his orders can reach whichever unit needs to receive them. So then take a leadership test. If it's passed, the order goes ahead. If it doesn't, then there's no effect. If an order causes the ordered unit to make a shooting, attack or run, receiving it does not prevent the ordered unit from acting later in that phase, whether the order was successful or not. Orders cannot be issued to embarked units or units that previously received an order. Unless otherwise stated, orders cannot be issued to units that are locked in combat or falling back or have gone to ground. If you're all double one, you get an extra order. No, it's not. It's you automatically, once the order has been resolved, all further orders issued by an officer are automatically successful. Okay, that's great. If you're all double six, then you can't issue any. It's just a slight chance there that might happen. So these are different orders, and different types of officers and units can make them. So we'll just go through them and then just bear that in mind, which orders are useful. So the first one's take aim. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all models in the ordered unit have precision shots. So, handy enough. Not bad, I can see that being helpful enough. You fire at a tactical squad or a Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine squad, and you've got to try and take out the laser cannon. It's helpful. Smite at will. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, the ordered unit has the split fire special rule. So, again, handy enough. First rank fire. They're not utterly amazing rules, but it'd be silly just to not know them in the game. First rank fire, second rank fire. The ordered unit makes a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all models firing with their las guns or hotshot las guns fire 1 additional shot. So you're at range 24, you fire 2 shots, rapid fire again, extra, so it's 3 shots. Loads of shooting. Forwards for the Emperor. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. Once the shooting attack has been resolved, the ordered unit must run, even though a unit can't normally shoot and run. Not really that amazing, but it's another one. Move, move, move. You run. You roll 3 dice, choosing the highest. Okay, makes running quite reliable, but nothing major. Suppressive fire. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all weapons in the ordered unit have pinning. Again, it's okay. It's not bad. Bring it down. Can only be issued by a model with a senior officer special rule. Okay, so as I said, these are the higher level orders here. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all models in the unit have the tank hunters and monster hunters. Right, that is a good one. So you can imagine now you've got your senior commander at the back, and then there's the teams, the heavy weapons teams next to him. They then benefit from this tank hunter, monster hunter. Very, very helpful indeed. Very, very helpful indeed. Okay, next one, fire on my target. Again, senior officer. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack, and all weapons have ignores cover. Excellent. Very, very good indeed. Yeah, really handy. And the next one, get back in the fight. Again, senior officer. Can only be issued to units fallen back or has gone to ground. The ordered unit immediately regroups if fallen back, but it does not make a 3-inch move. If the unit has gone to ground, the effects of going to ground immediately cancelled. And in either case, the ordered unit can act, shoot, run normally for the remainder of the turn. So, good stuff. I think the orders are good. It's worth learning them. So company command, I think what we'll do is keep track of your points costs for these as we go along. Just to get an idea of the cost of things. So company command squads. So this is your senior officer, I believe. Yes, this is your senior officer. So it's gonna be like your army commander, sort of a budget one, I think. That's not going to be too expensive. So the format for that is 1 company commander and then 4 veterans, and just the stats there. The company commander is weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, so you're on a high ballistic skill here. Maybe worth taking advantage of that. He comes with 3 wounds, 3 attacks, so for combat he's actually pretty good. Not really going to gear the Imperial Guard for combat, I don't think too much. It'll be more just for the massed shooting, just wiping units out. So would be cautious about equipping it. And plus, if he's right at the back, not really going to need to equip him heavily for combat. Then you have the veterans, and just the main noteworthy thing here for these is that they're ballistic skill 4. It might be something worth taking advantage of equipping that command squad out, perhaps with some decent weaponry. Perhaps if he's at the back, I'm thinking there may be some long range weaponry if that's an option. That squad by itself, remember you're getting your orders and things with him, is just 60 points. It's not too much at all. And the key guy is the company commander, and then you've got the 4 others, which pretty much can be bodyguards. Just run down here, just check the rules. So senior officers we mentioned, and you can issue 2 orders a turn, so you can distribute these orders out to the units that are nearby. And that's it. So I'm now going to go over to the options here for them. You can add an astropath, Master of Ordnance, or an Officer of the Fleet. So, interesting here. These are options that may well be worth doing. What we'll do is we'll come on to those. They're next on the entry here, so I'll come back to them. Then the company commander may take items from the melee, ranged, and special issue war gear, and/or heirlooms of conquest. Heirlooms of conquest we'll cover later on when that comes up. So his weapon options are, you can go for melee weapons here, which is power weapon, 15 points, and power fist. There's a fair amount of points, and the way I'm thinking, you know, at the back, giving out commands, staying out of trouble, probably unlikely to use them, so save the points there. And then he can go for ranged weapons. He is ballistic skill 4. Bolt pistol, bolt gun, plasma pistol. I don't bother with any of those. And then the next one, he can go for a special issue war gear. Sniper rifle. Not ready for a commander. A flamer, grenade launcher, hotshot, volley gun, melter gun, plasma, demolition charge. You could do, but again, it doesn't really suit him. He's more the kind of guy that's just going to be giving out commands and things, so probably save on there. But maybe if you want to turn this into a little shooter unit, there's options that he can join in. May would want to take advantage of that. He may replace his las pistol with a shotgun, that's free. Any veteran may replace his las gun with a las pistol, a close combat weapon. You may carry a Vox Caster. Right, so your Vox Caster 5 points. That means you can reroll orders as long as he has the Vox Caster and the unit he's trying to give the order to. So it may be an option. If you're with units that have Vox Casters, then take it. If he's going to be sitting with heavy weapons teams that don't have Vox Casters, there's probably no point in him taking it. Yeah, I think. But then you want flexibility, you know, probably just take it just to have it. One of a veteran replaces less gun with a heavy flamer, so you can do that. One of a veteran may carry a medipack, that's going to grant feel no pain, but it's a small unit, probably wouldn't bother with that. You may carry a regimental standard. Regimental standard follows the same rules as platoon standard. In addition, enemy friendly units in the Codex within 12 reroll foul, morale, fear, and penny. Pretty good. And then platoon standard is you get an additional wound for the purposes of calculating assault results. Almost a total waste of time, in my opinion, taking that. But the regimental standard is pretty good, especially for heavy weapons teams. Whose morale generally isn't very good. The ability to re-roll morale is handy to have. So, you know, you've got a team of 3, you only have to lose 1 base, it's going to force a morale check. So, you know, you need them to hold their ground. So maybe the regimental standard is a good idea, and it looks really cool as well. That will cost 15 points, you know. I don't think that's too bad for that. Again, depends, you know, economically if it's worth doing, if you have enough heavy weapons teams around you, or units or whatever, however you want to use them, then that ability to reroll is very helpful. 2 other veterans who must take 1 heavy weapon. So you have got access to the heavy weapons options. And you can take a mortar, 5 points, autocannon, heavy bolter, missile launcher, frag and crack, flak missiles for an extra 10. Maybe for a bit of anti-tank, anti-aircraft. Yeah, that's 25, or a las cannon. So, depending on what you want him to do, then there's that option there. Okay, all rounder, a bit of protection against flyers, maybe the flak missile option. I'll have to see what other units are helpful for anti-aircraft there. Those are the heavy weapon options. And then any remaining veteran may take special weapons. Okay. Special weapons. Sniper rifle, flamer, grenade launcher, hotshot, volley gun, melter gun, plasma gun. Okay. And it's two other veterans. Sorry, no, any remaining veteran that has not been upgraded. Right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe if you didn't take any other upgrades, you could give them all special weapons, which may well be handy. You know, take plasmas for example. You can start chucking out shots at range 24. You get ambush, something deep strikes, really nasty next to some terminators turn up or a monstrous creature. You know, how are you going to protect it? Veteran squad with plasma, and then all of a sudden you've got a nasty amount of shots. But it's going to rack up the points. So you've got to balance out. You can take crack grenades, carapace armor, camo gear, and then you can take a Chimera or Tarox. We'll look at those later. It's dedicated transports. And really, if he's the nerve centre of your army, you know, putting him inside a transport, I think, may well be a very good idea indeed. It just adds a level of protection to them. Just going to check out camo gear here. Model camo gear counts its cover as being 1 point higher than normal. Okay, but that's if you're going to be deploying outside. I think really the easier option, not the easier option, but the safer option is to go for some dedicated transport protection. Right, so we've gone to, so I think as Army Commander I probably would go for Company Command, just to get those orders and just to be like the nerve centre of the back line. So, you know, he's suitable for that. It's low points cost, going to get the orders, maybe take the standard to then grant some extra morale for those vulnerable heavy weapons teams, just to keep them holding their ground. Then thinking of that, if they're at the back, you're thinking of these heavy weapons teams as being long range support, so I'm immediately thinking auto cannons, maybe heavy bolters, and then also las cannons, that kind of weaponry. Right, so regimental advisors, and again, you know, to support this backline defence, see if these are any good. An astropath is 25 points for this guy, 1 wound, there's not much to him. Infantry, flak armour, frag grenades. Psyker, master level 1, so a bit of psychic ability there, and you can take powers from the telepathy discipline. You may well want to do that. Yeah, it may well be an option. Yeah, just looking at the telepathy powers there, that's the ones that where you get psychic shriek, shrouding, invisibility. Those are all decent enough. So I think he's definitely an option. Again, just something to help protect those crucial units. And if you're able to keep units of heavy weapons teams alive for the entire game, you could well dominate the battlefield. But it's protecting them, stopping them from running away, and then keeping them alive as best as you can. They are quite vulnerable, but you know, giving them invisibility, for example, or shroud, or any help like that. And he's not much. 25 points isn't very much for a psyker. Next one then is Master of Ordnance. So artillery bombardment. Master of Ordnance will make a shooting attack the following profile. Range infinite. I like that. That's excellent. Strength 9, AP 3, Ordnance 1, barrage, large blast. That's an excellent shooting attack. An artillery bombardment is resolved separately from other barrage weapons. Must choose the same target as fired. Artillery bombardment is resolved separately from other barrage weapons fired by the same unit in the same shooting phase. It must choose the same target as the rest of the unit. Okay. If a hit is rolled on the scatter dice, the blast marker scatters 2d6 in the direction shown by the hit symbol. If an arrow is rolled, the blast marker scatters an additional d6. If the Master of Ordnance has line of sight to his target, then he reduces the total distance scattered by his ballistic skill. That's the only letdown for that. That is wildly inaccurate. So it's a bit of a letdown there, really. So it's a shame that hit's probably not going to not be very accurate a lot of the time. So it might be a possibility, but just pretty wild there, which is a shame about that. Next one is Master of the Fleet, and he's 20 points as well. So Navy orders: an officer of the fleet may take a leadership test at the beginning of your turn before any reserve rolls are made. If the test is successful, his leadership is 7. Oh dear. Oh no. Oh dear. if it's successful, chances are a fair amount of time it's not going to be. But you choose one of these ones here. So it's coordinated reserves, you +1 to reserve rolls. I think Imperial Guard are stronger when they're all on the table. It's just my take. To lay down, heavy firepower, turn 1 onwards straight away, so I can't see that being too helpful. But again, it depends on how you want to build your army. And then intercept reserves, your opponent has -1 to reserves in his next turn. Always gets them on a 6. That's okay, but his morale isn't too good. The regimental standard though, I think that will help that out. But so they're okay. There's some bit letdowns of those. The wild scatter here. This one is morale being poor. Maybe the astropath's a pretty good one to go for. But those are options there, definitely. Some nice flexibility to add to your company command squad. Next one is tank commanders. Here, ballistic skill 4 is just the key part to this one. So, a Lehman Russ tank commander. He starts the game in a Lehman Russ tank, leading a Lehman Russ squadron. Note that any type of Lehman Russ can be taken as a tank commander's vehicle, and it can have any upgrades usually available to any type of tank. Tank's commander's BS4, and you can take him as your warlord. If his tank is wrecked, suffers explodes, the result, the commander is killed. Okay. Tank commander is Lehman Russ squadron count as an HQ choice for the entire battle. The tank commander's Lehman Russ cannot leave the unit or join another unit, even if the rest of the squadron is destroyed. Yeah, but I mean, the squadron's quite cool. You surround him with your other squadron mates and then protect him pretty good. You usually think our vehicle's going to be vulnerable if it's my warlord, but surround him with other tanks. He may well do okay. Tank orders. A tank commander can roll 2d6 at the beginning of the shooting phase if the result is 9 or less. Okay, choose one of the tank orders to immediately take effect. 9's generous, very generous. Full throttle is a special order. Tank commander's unit immediately moves flat out, moving up to 6 plus d6, even though they're heavy. Okay, need to get somewhere quick. Gunners kill on sight. The tank commander's unit immediately makes a shooting attack. The tank commander must shoot a different target to the rest of his unit. Right, so split fire. There's supposed to be a different target. Okay, so split fire basically for him. And then strike and shroud. You must make a shooting attack. And then you can, after that, then use your smoke launchers. I've seen James do that a few times. They're okay. So they're utterly amazing, but it's an option there. It'll be interesting. I mean, the BS4 is helpful. I'm not sure about that. We'll look up the tank commander. 30 points. So we've covered that there. Let's take a Lehman Russ, 1 or 2 other Lehman Russes to form the squadron on top of that, and the usual upgrades. And then one tank commander may be upgraded to Knight Commander Pask, which we'll come to a bit later on. I believe, so we'll come to that a bit later on. Then we're on to Commissars. I think one of the favourites for James. He does like them. So your options now is Commissar and Lord Commissar. Commissar's just 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 9. He's at weapon skill, ballistic skill 4. Just generally okay. And then Lord Commissar is weapon and skill, ballistic skill 5. And 3 wounds. Initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 10. So he is good. And points costs. Commissar is 25 points, and Lord Commissar is 65. 5 up save for both of those. Okay. Refractor field, 5 plus save, invuln save. Here for the Lord Commissar, he comes with that as standard as well. Frag and crack grenades as standard. Bolt pistol as standard. So not too bad. Independent character for Lord Commissar, and then stubborn for both of those. Whatever your combat result, it's a straight leadership of 9 for the Commissar, or 10 for the Lord Commissar. So these are, and again, the story and what they actually do in the game is to bolster your morale. I think these are helpful for isolated units. Say you take a unit of veterans, and they arrive by Valkyrie, for example. They're out on their own, they're away from the Order's influence. You need them to hold their ground. They might get charged in combat. Stick a Commissar in there, or a Lord Commissar, just to bolster their morale, and then you can equip them with like weapons and so on. Aura of Discipline, Lord Commissar only. All friendly units from within 6, you use his leadership for fear, morale, or pinning tests. So again, loads of units clustered around him is pretty good as well. Chain of Command, a Lord Commissar may only be your warlord if you have no models with the senior officer special role in your primary detachment. Okay. Summary Execution, if the commander's unit fails a fear, morale, pinning test after any rerolls, it is entitled to. The owning player can opt over its Commissar. Execute one of the models, roll d6, 3+, you choose, 1 or 2 your opponent chooses. Note that neither player can ever choose to execute the Commissar himself. You remove the model as a casualty, and you count as having passed the test. So, helpful at times. I must pass this test. Well, you will pass it with the Commissar, or Lord Commissar in the units. I like them. The models are lovely as well, and they're really cool having these little officers just dotted around the different units. So I like them. Whether I'd need them, I don't know, for what I'm thinking, but James likes to take them. The angle he's coming at the moment is sort of mechanised veteran squads, and he sticks Commissars in there at times. That's what he likes to do. So Lord Commissar here, we've covered all of these. You then may take melee weapons, special issue war gear, and then the heirlooms of conquest. And you can take a plasma pistol. And remember it's BS5, so that may well be an option. So you can kit him out pretty good. Plasma pistol power weapon. And you're keeping him under 100 points. So, pretty good. Yeah, well, not too bad. There's nothing really amazing. For combat, it's hard to get Imperial Guard units that are good in combat, and then you try and pay out loads of upgrades and points to make them good, and they're still never really much better than their opponent anyway. So, sometimes it's worth. I'm thinking maybe just concede on the fact you're not going to make them good in combat, so then just not go down the route trying to make combat units, and then just invest the points in loads of firepower. A Commissar, because I think. You've got 6 units all round, you've invested the points in loads of units, amazing enemy unit charges in and wipes out a guardsman unit. But the other 5 units can then turn on it and then blast it. As opposed to taking a couple of units that are really, really good and they're still not going to beat your enemy unit, and then he wipes them out anyway. I just think it's a bit like Dark Elder tactics. So many units, your opponent just cannot physically destroy all of them. And that's where the strength is, just in the cheapness of the units. You kill one guardsman squad, there's 10 more, and your opponent's super overpowered units are only able to kill 60-point units at a time, and that could be frustrating for them. I think that's a good way of doing it. A Commissar. You may include 1 Commissar for every company command squad or platoon squad in your army. So there's a restriction on how many you can take. They do not take up force organisation slot, do not qualify as mandatory HQ. So they're handy enough to stick in the army. Before the battle, immediately after determining warlord traits, each Commissar must be assigned to a different unit from the following list, which they cannot leave. Company command, platoon, infantry squad, special, heavy weapons, conscripts, veterans, Ogrins, Bulgrins, Tempesters, Militarum, Scions. Only 1 Commissar can join each unit in this manner. Actually, you can stick them with heavy weapons teams, but whether it's worth doing that. Yeah, I would use these sparingly, regular Commissars. And then, the standard options there that you can take. So, I like Commissars. I don't think I'd need one. I don't think in my sort of hordes-based, lines, but again, it depends how you want to build the force. Right, regimental specialists here. So you can go for, even more emphasis on the psychic stuff here. Ministerial priest. So he comes with a flak armor, las pistol, frag grenades, close combat weapon, Rosaris, which is a 4+ in one, which is interesting. Zealot as well. And then war hymns. Minister and priest can take a leadership test. The fight of each sub-phase, which is locked in combat. If you're successful, choose one of the following hymns. The Emperor protects. The minister and priest and unit reroll all fouled armor and invulnerable saves until the end of the phase. Okay. But it's the fight sub-phase here. She's talking about if you get charged in combat. The Emperor's strength. He has smash. Minister and priest. The righteousness of the Emperor. Reroll fouls to wound. I can't see the point of trying to make your guard army combat when it's just not going to do it. Okay. So that's the Ministerium priest. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would go for that. Next one, we'll just look up costs here. See why Games Workshop changed the codexes around. It's annoying going backwards and forwards. He's 25 points, and you can give him an auto gun. It's free. Plasma gun, 15 points. Yeah, so I don't think I'll bother with that. Next one is Primaris Psychers. Leadership 9, 2 wounds. This guy, he's quite cool. He's a bit like a librarian almost. He has the force weapon, 5+ invul on the refractor field. It's for your own good. Primaris Psycho suffers perils of the warp. In the same unit as a commissar, he'll be executed. Okay. He can then take biomancy, divination, pyromancy, telekinesis. I do like the astropath powers, but if you want access to those, then take him. His mastery level, it's only mastery level 1. It may be an option to upgrade him. You can have 25 points. So he starts at 50, and you go up to 75 points if you want him to be mastery level 2. That's an option. I do like the astropath though, it's cheap. I like that. I like the telepathy option. But if you want access to the others, then you can go for him. Okay. Next one is an engine seer. He does look cool. The model's nice. Just 1 attack. I'm just looking here. 3+ save though. Power axe, which is great, but it's just 1 attack, which is really annoying. Servo arm, awaken the machine. In each of your shooting phases, instead of firing weapons, he may choose to a single friendly astro vehicle within 12. It gains power of the machine's spirit special rule. Okay. It's okay. Alright, it's not bad. And then Blessings of the Omniscia. 5+, you're going to restore hull points, weapon destroyed, immobilized. You get +1 for each servitor. And then Mind Lock for the servitor. 4+, this unit has no effect. 1 or 2, 3. A mind locked unit may not involuntarily move, shoot or charge. Nor does ish to have no effect. Mind locked unit must still complete compulsory moves such as pine and fallback. Okay. So it's 40 points for an engine seer. Again, I don't really think it's worth it. And then servitors are 10 points a time. You can equip them with plasma cannon, 15 points a model. Up to 2 of them, it's interesting. Then heavy bolter or multi-melter for 10 points a model. Yeah, might be an option. Yeah, might be an option. So these extra things, it's fantastic variety you can get with the guard. Yeah, it really is cool. Right, so that's those HQs. I know there's some other ones to follow. But again, I'm thinking I'm trying to keep the costs down, and it's the backline army commander I was looking at, so he's there to emphasise the other units that are with him. That's the sort of angle I'm coming from. Right, so infantry platoon, this is your bread and butter of your Imperial Guard force. The philosophy I would go for is ranks and ranks of them. To be able to do that, you've got to keep your points costs low. So standard guards, we don't need to go through all of this. Here we'll do platoon command. first of all. So this is a lower link in the chain of command here. The platoon commander, just 1 wound for him, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and that's it. So, and then you've got your different squads. Nothing to mention here apart from combined squad. Infantry squads have the option of forming combined squads. The decision to form combined squads must be made immediately before determining warlord traits. So this is before you deploy them, you just say I'm combining squads. If the Imperial Guard player wishes to deploy his forces in this way, then any infantry squad may join another infantry squad from the same platoon. For example, an infantry platoon consisting of a platoon command squad and 3 10-man infantry squads can choose to deploy as a platoon command squad and a single 30-man infantry squad. Or a platoon command squad, a 10-man infantry squad and a 20-man. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I take advantage of that. You've got heavy weapons and things, you bury them inside so many bodies, but then the risk is you get contacts in combat and wiped out, the whole lot's gone. And you're restricted as to your shooting as well, everyone has to fire at one thing, so. But again, the flexibility is there. So, infantry platoon. I love organising stuff like this, it really is appealing to do it this way. So 1 platoon command squad, 2 to 5 infantry squads, 0 to 5 heavy weapons, 0 to 3 special weapons squad. You could fill that out, and that would fill out your 1850 point army, I think. 30 points for a platoon commander and 4 guardsmen. It's cheap. It is cheap. And then I could spend ages going for, I'm not going to fine tooth comb these. The platoon commander, you can take melter bombs, 5 points if you think, I think you're just there to support the other infantry units, so probably not melter bombs. He's only, platoon commander's ballistic skill 4. He can take melee or ranged weapons. You can have the Vox there. If your other units around you've got Voxes, then you're going to need to take it to get that reroll. You can take heavy flame for 10 points. Platoon standard, I don't think it's worth it, it's 10 points, which is expensive. And Medipack, I don't think it's worth it, feel no pain for a pretty insignificant squad. 2 other guardsmen, you can form a heavy weapons team. And any remaining guardsmen can take special weapons. So there's that option there, but their ballistic skill goes to 3. And you can take a Chimera. So, platoon command, you have to take one, 30 points. You don't have to spend much more. And you could maybe take a heavy weapons team, and you barely spent anything, which is brilliant. So then you go on to infantry squads. 50 points for 10. And there's a sergeant in there as well, who is leadership 8. You can give him a power weapon. I want to keep it ranks and ranks, so I want these units that are frustratingly large in size and just there's nothing special, and the opponent has to wade his way through them and not achieve it. He wipes out a squad of guardsmen. It's virtually no loss to you, 50 points. It looks so much on the table there. He may take ranged weapons. So Vox caster, yeah, take that if you need to. 2 other guardsmen may take, form a heavy weapons team, you must take heavy weapons. We've seen the options there. What I'm going to do is just going to run through these, and then I'm going to give you a formation I've thought of that I think is quite cool. And doesn't cost too much. You can take special weapons, but again, you'll be careful, it's ballistic skill 3, so you can take crack grenades, pointer model, and then a Chimera. So I'm just covering the others here. Heavy weapons squad, 45 points, and then you have to pay out for the items from the heavy weapon list. So you've got here the mortars, 5 points, auto cannon, heavy bolter, 10 points, cheap enough. Missile launchers, 15 points, but a strength 8 stuff in there, general all-rounders, and then las cannons in there at 20 points as well. So I think you want to spread for the heavy weapons teams. So I'm thinking you've got infantry to take on infantry, tanks to take on medium heavy infantry, and the large blast and so on, your typical Lehman Russ, and then you need something with like even more punch to break through the heavier Star Wars. I'm thinking las cannon teams are going to be quite important. Missile teams perhaps as well, and then autocannons with a nice long range and cheap enough in points costs as well. Right, so then after the heavy weapons teams and those kind of configurations, you got special weapons squad, which I think are pretty cool. So 30 points for a squad of 6, and then 3 guards must replace their las with 1 item from the special weapons list. You can kit them out for special stuff. So sniper rifles, flamers, it's quite cool, cheap enough, 5 points a time, and they're BS3, so flamers are a good weapon when you've got low ballistic skill. Grenade launchers, don't really rate them very much. Hot shot volley gun, that's for the scions. Melter guns, plasma's quite good, but it's starting to push up and expensive. And then demolition charge is quite an interesting one to use, but again pretty expensive. Out of all those, I would say flamers is pretty good. You know, chuck out 3 flamer templates is cheap. That unit's going to cost 30 points plus 15, 45 points. So handy enough. And then I stick them in a Chimera. We'll come to the Chimera later on, but mechanised guard I think are much better. Times that I've played against guard, I used to play against quite a few different guard players. One guy did particularly well, and his army was mechanised. And he played it in a similar way that I'm thinking of here. So he had artillery support at the back. We'll come to it later on. Basilisks he was using. And then sort of a mechanised armoured assault, and it was pretty cool, it was pretty good. Used to have some epic games with my Tau against him, and some great games there. Right, then you got conscripts, one of James's favourites. I think they look great on the table. 20 conscripts is 60 points. You can have another unit of 30 conscripts, and they sort of do match in with that idea of having loads and loads of, you know, waves of infantry. Conscripts are a cheap and quick way of filling out that part of the force. So, you know, if your points are starting to be used up, chuck a few conscript squads, put a commissar in with them. It looks great fun. And then as far as padding out the army, it's a very cheap way of doing it. So that's troops. I like the platoons and all the configurations. So then you got veterans. This is more James's angle. He's specialised, you know, specialised squads. 60 points for a unit of 10. The great thing about these, ballistic skill 4, very helpful. So I would be more inclined to equip these guys with the ballistic skill weapons like plasma melter, because that BS4 is so much better. I think that's a way better way to go. There's more options with these. Sergeant, you can equip them with melee and ranged weapons. You can take a shotgun, any veteran. You can take the Vox Caster. You can take a heavy flamer for 10 points. So that's good fun. Not good fun. James has done that a few times with veteran squads, and it's come in handy. That strength 5 AP4 has really helped him out. So I think the heavy flame is pretty cool. Then 2 other veterans may form a weapons team from the heavy weapons list. There's that option, and then up to 2 or 3 if no heavy flamer is taken, remaining veterans that have not been upgraded with one of the options above may replace the las gun with special weapons, so plasma, melter, flamer, and so on. And I think it'd be more that kind of squad you want to give, pay out the points for things like melter guns and plasma. I think it's an effective team. Then the squad can choose any of the following doctrines. The squad replaces flak armor with carapace armor. 15 points. It's going to become 4 up save. It's cheap to do that. It's really cheap to do that. You know, AP5 weapons are a bane for Imperial Guard, you know, bolters and so on. But then carapace armor really helps to fix that. We'll just turn up the entry here because there's a few other rules. So then you've got forward sentries. The squad has camo gear and snare mines. Snare mines means when you get charged, it's disorder charge, so they get a +1 for charging. And then camo gear, so you've got the +1 cover save. Might want to do that. And then so that's only 10 points. And then demolitions. The entire squad has melter bombs. 1 veteran carries demolition charge. 30 points. So quite reasonable. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I mean, if you did that kind of squad, you pay the 30 points, then probably no other upgrades, and they've all got melter bombs. And then that should be enough, you're aiming to get them into combat somehow. But I think it might be difficult to pull that off. You put them in a Chimera, you disembark, you can't charge. So it's quite awkward, that one. You've got Sergeant Harker here. You can take him. Just the 1 wound for him. Leadership 8, 2 attacks, BS 4. So he's relentless, so it's pretty good. 55 points is quite steep. 10 points of that is to pay for this heavy bolter. Then we'll just look up the weapon here called Payback. Here, range 36, strength 5, AP 4, heavy 3, and then rending. So it's a rending heavy bolter basically, which is okay. Good fun. The model's beautiful. Very, very nice indeed. So that's troops done. I'm going to go on to dedicated transports next. So you've got the famous Chimera here. I'm a big fan of these. I think they're really good. I think they're so good because they're armor 12 at the front, which is really good for a transport vehicle. They're 65 points. And your standard weaponry is a multi-laser. So you're getting your nice strength 6 shots from them. Heavy bolter as well as standard in the hull. Searchlight smoke launchers as well. And then a number of other options. For the Tempestas, what I'm going to say for these is check out the Codex review for that supplement. Instead of dwelling on these in this Codex here, then I would say just check out that Codex, separate Codex review for them. Same for the Tauroxes as well. So Chimeras then, 12 models by the way for transport capacity for them, which is excellent. And then 5 points. 2 models can fire from the Chimera's top hatch. Note the model with a heavy weapons team counts as a single model. So it's excellent. It's like a pillbox, a mobile pillbox, an armoured pillbox that can protect you there. Amphibious. Chimera treats all water features as open terrain when it moves. Fascinating. Lasgun arrays. Chimera has 2 separate arrays of 3 lasguns. That's the ones that stick out the sides. Up to 6 models in the embarked unit, maximum 3 per side, may fire 1 lasgun each from the arrays, provided those models are not using the Chimera's 5 points this turn. Those models, yeah. To represent the unusual nature of these weapons, use the Chimera's ballistic skill for those shots. The lasgun arrays can shoot at this ballistic skill regardless of how far the Chimera has moved. If the Chimera has suffered a cruise damage shaken, the lasgun arrays snapshots. Lastly, each array may shoot a different target. Very good. They've sorted that. The rules didn't used to be like this. That's well done there. A mobile command vehicle. This is the really cool thing about them. An officer embarked within a Chimera may still issue orders to squads. Measure range from any part of the hull. So, gain a few inches for the width and size of the vehicle, and then crucially, you can protect your command squads inside the Chimeras, and then they can issue orders out. Right. So, I think Chimeras are excellent. Nice support vehicles. There's a nice strength 5, strength 6 weaponry that comes as standard on there, and they're just they're not amazing, but they're able to chuck out some medium strength shots to help support that mechanised advance I was talking about. You can take vehicle equipment list to have a look at that in a second. You may replace the heavy bolter with a heavy flamer. Depending on what you've got inside, if you've got a commander at the back giving out orders, I wouldn't bother with a heavy flamer. But if you're assaulting, you've got units that you want to assault and use the Chimeras, then maybe a heavy flamer is an option. And then replace the multi-laser with either a heavy flamer or a heavy bolter. So there's that option there as well, and there's no points cost for that. I like the standard loadout, heavy bolter and multi-laser. I think it's no problem at all. So vehicle equipment here. I'll just see if it's at the back. Yeah. An Argo array. Friendly units deep striking within 6 do not scatter. I think that's for the Tempestas. Camo netting, +1 cover safe, even in the open. Just checking the full entry here just to make sure that it's correct. You get that cover save all the time, even if you've moved. So even if you're in the open, you get 6+ save. It's pretty good. And that will cost camo gear 15 points. Yeah, steep enough. You know, sometimes we think Chimera, is it worth protecting? You know, humble transport like that. I think the key to Chimera is just keeping the cost down. Enclosed crew compartment. Right, okay, that's not for Chimeras. 5 barrels. The first time an enemy unit attempts to charge a vehicle with 5 barrels, the unit suffers strength 4 AP 5 hits D6. These are randomly allocated. Okay, so interesting enough. See how much that costs. Here, 10 points for that one. Okay, wouldn't really rate that too much. And then recovery gear. Vehicle is mobilised, then its subsequent turns it may attempt to repair itself if it needs 6. The same, similar to the immobilised rules for rhinos. Highly unlikely you're going to get that 6, and then it will cost you. So look here, recovery gear. Only 5 points actually. It's not too bad, but it's unlikely it's going to happen. And then relic plating has adamantium, and that will cost you 3 points. As far as you've got a few points spare in the force, you can just give a few upgrades out to your vehicles. Probably more worth giving to your better tanks. You need like your heavy support tanks. Would be worth giving them things like camo netting. I would see as being a. But again, depends how you're going to use them. If you can do an armoured assault and you're going to be moving out in the open, then maybe the camo netting is not such a good idea. So that's that. So Tarox Prime, just check out the Tempestus review, Codex reviews for those. So on to Elites next. So Ogrins. Weapon skill 4, which is pretty good. Strength and toughness 5, which is great. 3 wounds. Initiative 2. 3 attacks. Very good. LD 6, which is bad, and then 5+ save. Toughness 5. So there's a bit of toughness here for Imperial Guard. Flak armor, Ripper gun. Yes, Ripper gun. Range 12, strength 5, AP dash, assault 3. Not bad. Not bad. I don't expect too much from them there. But a tougher option to take. It's 130 points. Of course, quite expensive. You get 2 Ogrins and a Bonehead. Bonehead gets an extra attack and extra leadership. Still pretty steep though. They're 40 points a model, and you get no other options for them there. Okay, so they're alright. They're alright. They do look cool. And you got the new models that have come out. Borgrins next. Come with Hammer of Wrath, by the way, and Stubborn. So it's a handy melee if you're anticipating melee. Those guys seem pretty cool. Frag grenades as well. Borgrins then, Carapace armor, so on a 4+ save, which I think is better. And stat line's the same. The Grenadier Gauntlet, we'll have a look at that. Frag grenades, Slab Shield, we'll have to look these up. Hammer of Wrath, Stubborn, and then very bulky. These seem like the armoured option, which may well be better. You know, Ogrin shooting, not particularly amazing, but the Borgrins here, we'll see how good that is. Alright, so Grenadier Gauntlet is actually a shooting weapon. Range 12, strength 4, AP 6, assault 1, blast. Okay, if they all come with that, you know, may well be underrated, but you can hit a lot of models with the humble little blast marker. If you've got units chucking out a whole load of them, similar to the way the Orc killer cans work with their Grotzukas. You do some damage at strength 4, good against hordes maybe. And then we need to look up the Slab Shield, which is here. If you're in base contact with another model, one or more models with a Slab Shield from the same unit, adds +1 to armor save, so you can get a 3+ armor save as long as there's at least 2 of you in base contact. If a target, friend or foe is partially obscured from the firer's view by at least one model with a Slab Shield, receives +1 cover save. So actually grant the guys behind you +1 cover save as well. Interesting. The models look nice, so that's 145 points for them. Your options, they're 45 points a time. I think the extra 5 points is worth it. Any model can replace his Grenadier Gauntlet and Slab Shield with a Power Maul and Brute Shield. Brute Shield is a 5+ invuln. In addition, a model with Brute Shield rerolls failed to wound rolls when resolving Hammer of Wrath. Okay, 5+ invuln. This is more combat equipment here. And then the weapon he comes with is a Power Maul. Yeah, just looking at the Power Maul there, the rules are in the 40k rulebooks. +2 strength and then AP 4. Now that is good. Borgren's strength 5 anyway, so strength 7 as standard with 3 attacks each. And then AP 4. So that is really good. But it costs you 15 points a time, so it's up to you. It's going to eat up a fair few points, but decent enough unit. But as I said at the beginning, you take units that are okay, and then you try your best to make them brilliant melee units. And I still think the Imperial Guard, they really struggle to do that. So I think, well, why go down that route? Why not just play to strengths of just massed ranks? Saturation firepower, I think, would be the way to go. Their Borgrins don't really fit that. And then sometimes what happens, your opponent identifies, oh look, the guard player's got a unit of Borgrins, and it just sends him a really good melee unit to take them out and destroys them, and then you've still got no melee capability. So I don't think so. So you've got Rattlings here, the 10 points time. Snipers here, ballistic skill 4, which is good. Stealth as well, so maybe hard to root out. Terrible leadership. Infiltrate, which is good. And then shoot and Scarper, special rule for them. I like Rattlings, love the models. James likes them too. Rattlings can make a shooting attack and then run in a shooting phase, so it's a handy little rule to have. So another option there to have those. Sometimes you've got a few spare points. You say you got 50 points, not really enough to buy any decent unit or vehicle. You think, well, I'll just get a few Rattlings just to fill out the force. And sometimes a very small unit in 40k is ignored because it is so small, it's not worth sending the big unit after it. And then that leaves them free to just chip away. It's ideal way to use it is to have them sniping for as many turns of the game as you can to make them effective and worthwhile. The Weird Vein Psychers then, 60 points for 5 of them. You get the Brotherhood of Psychers with those, and they are able to take powers from the Biomancy, Divination, Pyromancy and Telekinesis. So it just opens out that option there for the Weird Vein Psychers. That's another unit you can go for. You've got the Tempestor stuff here. I'm going to leave those. That's for the other Codex there. Just looking at the elites then for Guard. So I really am thinking the rank and file is the way to go. That's the thing that I'll go for. But again, with Guard, you can customise and just keep kind of completely different armies every time. And the way that there's so many regiments and so on for the Imperial Guard, you got that option to customise an army to fit the storyline. So it'd be fascinating to hear your comments from those of you that do have a lot of success with Imperial Guard, especially if up against different armies and you still do well. Maybe give away some of your tips and secrets and share with everybody else what good units and combinations and an overall theme as well for your army that works well. It'll be fascinating to hear. So fast attack next for the Imperial Guard. So Scout Sentinels, I used to take these a fair amount a good few years ago. I used to enjoy taking them. They're 35 points a time. There's armor 10, only 2 hull points, and a multi-laser as standard. I used to take them with heavy flamers was the way, and they just move around and just strength 5 AP4. I found it quite effective. They come with Scout as well. You can take other weapons. You can take heavy flame, that's free, so there's no charge for that. And And then autocannons, only 5 points. Missile launchers, only 5 points. Okay, and then las cannon is 10 points, so they are open topped as well. So it's a cheap way there of bringing in some heavy firepower. Then you've got the armoured Sentinel Squadron, so these are the ones that are enclosed, they're not open topped. It's going to cost you an extra 5 points to have that. And then same options again, and you can take your vehicle equipment list and so on for those. Centaurs are good, I like the models as well, so that's an option there. Rough Riders, I wonder if Games Workshop will ever do a plastic set of those. They are a popular unit for guard armies, a lot of fans of them, people use them. So Rough Rider here, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength toughness 3, 5+ save. They're cavalry, so you have that lovely 12-inch move, which is good. Or when you have a 12-inch move, often your opponent's going to underestimate the speed of them. 55 points will get you 4 Rough Riders and a Rough Rider Sergeant. He comes with an extra attack and leadership 8. You can have up to 5 more, so only 11 points a time. Pretty good. And if you're doing an armoured assault, you know, moving up with vehicles, they're going to the cavalry can keep up with them as well. Fascinating to see cavalry in 40k. So just maybe a plastic set would be brilliant. Las pistol, close combat weapon. Interesting, that, so you're going to get an extra attack. Frag and crack grenades for these guys. And then hunting lance. So hunting lance here, +2 strength, so strength 5, AP 3, specialist weapons, you're going to get that 1 attack and then 1 use only. Alright, this is cool. It's a close combat weapon. However, the first time, 1 use only, oh, you do lose them, okay. First time a model with a hunting lance charges into combat for the duration of that phase, it has +2 to its initiative. That helps, and then counts as being armed with a weapon with the following profile. So, +2 strength and AP 3. So, pretty cool. You know, you're looking at 110 odd points for them. It's not costing too much at all. And just the shock value of them. You know, if you get a nice target, +2 initiative, so you'll be on initiative 5. So you're going to go before Marines. You're going to be at strength 5. So yeah, you could do some damage. Don't think they would stand too much chance after that, which is a shame. Maybe you'd need 2 units to smash into a, you know, tactical squad-sized unit to stand any chance of wiping them out. So I do love Rough Riders. I do have a soft spot for them. There's a couple of options here. The Rough Rider Sergeant replaces las pistol, combat weapon, plasma pistol, power weapon. Probably won't bother with any of those. Rough Rider Sergeant may take them out to bombs. Yeah, I mean, charge into a vehicle, strength 5, you could, you know, do damage on the rear arm when you hit it. Up to 2 Rough Riders may replace a hunting lance with 1 item from the special weapons. Again, don't think it's worth it. BS3, and then you drop in the actual hunting lance. The whole point of taking them in the first place. But just, I think for fun, I would. Rough Riders are cool. Yeah, you could have a unit either flank or something like that. If I did Caleron Desert Raiders, then definitely, you know, if they did a plastic kit, you could customise and make some Rough Riders as well. Some cavalry, desert cavalry type units look really cool. So Hellhounds, I really rate Hellhounds, always like them. So a standard Hellhound, front armour 12, side armour 12 for these guys as well. So armour 12 on the side, Chimera is just 10, so that's good for them. They are a fast vehicle, it's a nice speed, and then 125 points the standard Chimera. It's a fair bit, it's double the cost of a Rhino. It's a lot. It comes with heavy bolter, Inferno cannon, so you have to look these up to see which one is worth taking. The cheapest is the standard Hellhound, just there. Yeah, just checking, it's all in the 40k rulebook here. Loads of the weapons are in the 40k rulebook. Inferno Cannon, which I thought would be in here, but it's inside here. It's Strength 6 AP4, Heavy 1, and then Torrent. So it's the template plus an extra 12 inches on top, and a bit of flexibility when you place the template. I think it's great. BS3 is, you know, it's not good for the Imperial Guard, but template weapons are great. There's no scatter of them, place them exactly where you want. I think that's a tremendous advantage to have. So really rate Hellhounds. And then, you know, if you're mechanised infantry moving up, they're not giving out their full firepower potential, but Hellhounds can help clear out areas of medium light infantry resistance. So really do rate the Hellhounds. I think they're really good. I like the standard one. We'll just take a look at the others here. The next one's the Devil Dog. These options you can take with the new kits, or newer kits. They've been out for a long time now. So that comes with a melter cannon. Range is 24, strength for AP1, blast and melter. That is actually a really good weapon. You know, anti-vehicle is a really, really good weapon. Problem is though, if it's melter, yeah, it is melter here. For you to get that 2d6, you've got to get within 12. That means getting close. Sometimes it's not a good idea for guard. But you know, if you're doing this mechanised assault with tanks, vehicles, and then you've got of Grey Knights in front of you, or Chaos Terminators turn up. You know, what have you got? You know, your standard low strength weaponry is going to struggle to take them out. Hit them with a blast melter weapon here may well be a good idea. And then as you get closer, you know, just take out vehicles. With that blast weapon, you scatter, but if it's a vehicle, you know, you're probably still going to, only got to clip it, and you'll still get that hit. So good trick up the sleeve that you have to cover your assault. Definitely, if you're going to be aggressive, which I'm thinking you could do here, then yeah. Because the way I'm thinking is build out your tanks and infantry. You move up when there's space, and then you stop and shoot if there's any threat, clear the threat, keep moving up that aggressive, steady advance, and then your artillery prioritising their shooting to help out whatever areas are in trouble. I think that's a good approach, definitely. But I'll have to see, I'll have to get into doing guard again. Yeah. The next one's a Chem Cannon, and that's for the Bane Wolf. Strength 1, but it's poison 2+ and AP3. Yeah, nasty. But again, one you're going to have to use aggressively, and you've got to get up close to use that. 2's to wound, regardless of toughness. And then poisoned, yeah, and AP3. Again, pretty good there. So, plenty of options there for the Hellhound. Squadron, they are squadrons. You can take up to 2 more if you really fill out your force with them. Quite reasonable in points. You can take your vehicle equipment upgrades. Little trick maybe, say you've got a heavy tank in front. Yeah, this is quite cool, right. Say you've got a heavy tank in front, that's armour 14, it's taking the brute of the hits. And then put this guy behind to get your 5 up save, and then maybe camo netting to give him an extra +1, you know, obscure target, +1 cover save, keeping him alive, moving up. Maybe a tank accompanied by one of these things in support, working in tandem together. Quite good. Valkyrie then, it's your flyer option here. Do love the Valkyrie, it's huge flyer, massive thing. Front armour and side is 12, really good. 125 points as standard. Multi-laser, a few shots from there. And then you've got the Hellstrike missiles. I think they're in here. Yeah, they are. So you've got 2 of them, Strength 8 AP3, Ordnance 1. It's pretty good at hitting armor, but that BS3 is such a letdown, and there's no blast for them, so you miss, it's gone. 12 models they can carry. Grav shoot insertion, that's you can deep strike even if whilst you're moving. Extra armor as standard, searchlight as standard. Take squadrons of them up to 2 more, 125 points a time. You can take a las cannon, but again BS3, 1 shot, half a chance you're going to hit. You can replace the Hellstrike missiles with multiple rocket pods. That's range 24, pretty short range, but you're a flyer, it's no problem. Strength 4, AP6, large blast, heavy one. It's a bit of anti-light infantry. That's what you want to go for. Yeah, it's just I think it's a struggle for these. Any Valkyrie in place may take a pair of sponsons armed with heavy bolters. So it's a pair of sponsons with heavy bolters. It's 20 points for the 2 sets. So pretty good for them. And then we've covered the rocket pods. So that's an option there, perhaps. Yep, okay. Then the next one, 8 Valkyries are okay. They're handy if you, especially if you're determined to play defensively. You've got massive force in defence. How are you going to reach your opponent's objective and so on? I think Valkyries is the answer. Stick a couple of veteran squads inside of heavy flamers and melters and plasma with commissars. That's quite a good option to have. But if you overspend, you're going to thin out your big defensive force. So again, it's all about balance of these. Vendetta here is 170 points. Remember the toughness of this flyer. Armour 12, extra armour, and then 3 twin link las cannons. Way better for reliability. And look at that, you can still transport 6. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, you know, because I didn't even realise that. I think you're gonna. Sometimes you play against opponents, they don't realise that, and you can. It's a sneaky move you can do towards the end of the game. Just wondering here, looking at veterans. No, they come in squads of 10. So it's annoying. Maybe a specialist squad, perhaps, if you're allowed to do that. I'm trying to think of a smaller one that can do that, but that's an option there. Okay, so Vendetta, still got that transport capacity. 170 points though, not cheap, but pretty good. One of the better units there for Imperial Guard. You know, Imperial Guard is this number of armies. Orcs, Imperial Guard, Tyranids are armies that have access to cheap, large units. And I think when you go down that route, when that's available to you and you go down that route, I think sometimes you do better. You know, cheap units sometimes is the way to go for those, taking advantage of that. Because there's some armies that just don't have access to that. So on to heavy support now. This is crucial here. We're going to be thinking about your armoured assault, and then also your defensive units to sit at the back and provide artillery support as well. So the Lehman Russ Squadron, there's so many options here. I'm just going to try and go through this briefly. Armour 14, whichever one you take, it's Armour 14. Side 13. The armour on these is excellent. And then the only difference here is it's Rear Armour 10, Rear Armour 11 for the Demolisher, Punisher and Executioner, and that does come in handy at times. And your Strength 4 units charging in, cannot touch in, that does come in helpful. Heavy bolter is standard, searchlight, smoke launchers, battle cannon, which is the is range 72, strength 8, AP3, ordnance, decent standard weapon. Struggles against decent armour though. Exterminator autocannon. We'll look up these weapons here. Yes, this has been one of the tough things for Guard, trying to choose which tanks do well. Yeah, difficult. Exterminator autocannon, range 48, nice range, strength 7, AP4, heavy 4 and twin linked. You're taking out an expensive tank and then you're giving it strength 7 weaponry. Really to take on light vehicles. I just don't see that as worth doing. Maybe if you think, I need to take out the like light transports and so on. That's pretty good, pretty nice, reliable. 4 shots, rerolls. Strength 7, nice range on that. That's the Exterminator. It's cheaper, it's 130 points, so pretty cheap there. It's one of the cheaper ones. Then you've got the Vanquisher here, 135 points. I think the weapon is in here. Range 72, strength 8, AP2, heavy 1, and then armor Bane. So once you get that hit, you're at strength 8 and then 2d6 arm penetration. Brilliant. Brilliant anti-tank capability for that thing. That will cost you 135 points for that. And really, it's probably all you'd want to go for. Just 135 points. No sponsons needed, just sit right at the back. Give it camo netting and then just pick away at shots there. But BS4 is a shame. Then you've got the Lehman Russ Eradicator. That's the Eradicator Nova Cannon. Range 36, strength 6, AP4. Large blast, ignores cover. So there's that option there for that. Sounds okay. Doesn't sound too good. But it's cheap, 120 points for that one. The Lehman Russ Demolisher, one of my favourites. Especially trying to use the guard aggressively, trying to break in there. Then the Demolisher at shorter range, but you negate that when you move up further. So you're at the Demolisher Cannon, Demolisher Siege Cannon, range 24. But if you're moving up aggressive, you can negate that. Strength 10 AP2, and then Ordnance Large Blast. So excellent for taking out any type of infantry, whether because it's large blast, so hordes, medium, heavy infantry, no problem. And then also strength 10 AP2, and then ordnance on top of that, excellent for taking out your vehicles of any type as well. Land Raiders, no problem to take them on as well. So I really, really rate the Demolisher Cannon. And that will cost you 170. Do pay for it, but I think it's worth it. Then you've got the Punisher, 140 points, a fair bit less. There's nice options here. So Punisher Cannon, range 24, strength 5 AP dash, but heavy 20. Yeah, fascinating that one. I used to take those. I used to take them to try and hose down things like Terminators. Just hit them so many hits and then just chip away at them. It used to annoy players when I was doing that. So that's an option for them. And you're looking at 155 points for him. So plenty of options now with that newer kit that Games Workshop brought out. You can take up to 2 additional Lehman Russ battle tanks in any combination. Right, so you can really mix it up there. Yeah, really can mix it up. You know, so you can take a cheap tank to lead the way. When they did this in World War II, you know, with Sherman tanks, put them in squadrons. You had, the better tanks were protected by some regular Shermans. The Firefly was the heavy weapon on board, and then the regular Sherman sort of they work together. You could do that similar tactic here. Maybe protect a Demolisher configuration really well equipped with a couple of cheaper options. It may be an idea. You take your vehicle equipment, and then any model may replace its heavy bolter with heavy flame. It's free. A las cannon, that's the whole one sticking up the front. It's an option there. And then you can take sponsons. Heavy flame is 10 points, heavy bolters 20, multi-melters are 20. I used to like putting those on my Demolisher tanks, just a couple of extra shots. And then plasma cannons is 30 as well. So I would definitely take the Lehman Russes. And I think, you know, a lot of the infantry and the Hellhounds, that's your anti-light infantry and hordes dealt with. So I really would focus in on anti-tank, anti-elite infantry, and I think the best of all these for that is the Demolisher tank, especially moving up aggressive. The Demolisher configuration is definitely the way to go there. But again, this is a good one for the comment section. Your squadron builds would be really interesting to hear about and how well you do with those. So Hydras, lovely model. James is planning on getting a few of those. Nice anti-aircraft cover. Something that, I mean, in James's games he has struggled with. I think the Hydra can help him out here. It's only 70 points to take one. I suppose part of the difficulty is, you know, it's taking up a slot here in heavy support. Twin-linked Hydra autocannons. So Hydra autocannon, strength 7 AP4, standard stuff, range 72 though. Brilliant range, that's actually really good. Heavy 2 and Sky 5. 2 twin-linked hydraulic cannons. Yeah, so you're on 4 shots, 3 rolls, excellent range, and Skyfire. It's a quick fix for that. You know, maybe camo netting, if we're able to dig it in, hide it behind a ruin or between other vehicles, and then just sit there. It's your anti-aircraft. Probably just take 1, if not 2. If I had no other anti-aircraft, maybe 2. Okay. Next is the Basilisk, and this is I think a cheap way of getting some nice heavy firepower support without paying out for hefty tanks. Decent, 125 points. You know, same kind of price as a Hellhound. Nice armor 12 at the front. You can expand the squadron out again to another 2. Take your vehicle equipment, and then we're going to look up here at the Earth Shaker Cannon. Range 36 to 240. Problems. Yeah, there's a problem. I mean, it would fit in all right. Yeah, so you've got a minimum range here, 36, and then up to 240. So this is your back line here. These have got to go on the back line, and then, you know, if your opponent gets under that, that's annoying. 36 is a long way. So, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, the way to use those, stick one on each corner, and then fire end to end, crossways. That's giving you more scope across the battle, instead of deploying both in the middle. You're already reaching out to a large zone of the table. Put them in the corners and then angle your shots in. Might be a better way to use those. Just an option there. For them, ordnance and barrage and large blast. I'm still think they're pretty cool. I'm going to take 1, 2 of them. A Wyvern battery, 65 points, armor 12 again. 2 twin-link storm shard mortars, heavy bolter searchlight smoke launchers, and the same. You can take another 2 for the squadron, and then your standard vehicle equipment. Very cheap. Very, very cheap. Range 48, nice range. Strength 4, AP 6. Heavy 2, barrage, blast, ignores cover and shred. Yeah. Don't know about that one. Not too impressive. But ignores cover, shred. Yeah, I mean, anti-light infantry could cause a lot of trouble. Ignores cover. I mean, most of them do well against Tyranids. At range 48 is nice on them, so you can still keep a nice distance away from your opponent with that. And yeah, I can imagine a battery of them, even just 2 of them. Heavy 2, maybe. Next one, the Manticore, one of my favourites for looks wise as well. Just looks epic on the battlefield. Storm Eagle rockets, 170 points. God, very. There's a lot, bit massive differences. A difference there. Limited ammunition. Okay. So yeah, your D3 warheads here as time ticks on. D3 warheads, you get 4 lots, I believe, and then it runs out and you've gone. But usually you don't. Usually you don't use all of them up. Usually dead before they're found. Storm Eagle rockets then. Oh, we've got a minimum range here as well. 24, that's not as bad. 120. Strength 10. AP4, Ordnance D3, Barrage, Large Blast. Again, a nice strength 10 here. You know, I do rate them. So, you know, for your back line of defence, keeping the opponent at arm's reach by being aggressive, steady advance with other stuff. Then Basilisks, yeah. Even Wyvern batteries. Just taking heavy weapons, steam mortars, and then you just get blown away. A couple of Wyvern batteries, better range, much better protected, better weapons as well. So I think that's better. Then the Manticore, nice one, very nice. Right, so then the Death Strike. With the ridiculous sized missiles, 160 points. So it has the Death Strike missile here, and then just your standard upgrades. Yeah, I'm just turning it up here in the entry. No ordinary weapon. Death Strike missile cannot be destroyed by weapon destroyed result. Right, it's very handy. Only delayed Similarly, a crew stun, a crew shaken result does not prevent Death Strike missile from launching. That's handy. The arrow is 9. The Death Strike missile launcher may not fire on the first turn of the game, or if it is moved earlier in the turn it wishes to fire. In the shooting phase, if you wish to fire the Death Strike missile, roll d6 of the following modifiers. So remember that the result here is a 4 or more, it will go off. That's great. Each 4 consecutive game turn in which the Deep Strike missile launcher is not moved. Okay, so you think carefully where you're going to set this thing up. Each weapon destroyed result is a -1. Alright, okay. I mean, I can imagine your opponent really trying to disrupt this. So it's kind of risky taking it. You might want to try and sandwich it between other vehicles, really bury it somewhere on the table. A 6 always. It always goes off. But it goes off, and then now it's just a case of looking up the actual weapon. The Death Strike missile. Minimum range 12 to unlimited. Excellent. For that, cannot fire directly. Okay. Just to clarify, I think you can. Says here you cannot fire directly, so I'm taking that as Earthshaker Cannon. Your barrage capability is limited to 36, but you can fire directly without restriction. Let me know if that's the case. I think that is the case for that. Anyway, Strength 10, AP 1, so as good as you can get. Ordnance 1, Apocalyptic Blast, epic. Barrage, ignores cover. This is a 10-inch blast marker, otherwise obeys all the rules of blast weapons. If you do not have this blast marker, just... okay. Okay. 10-inch blast is deadly. You terrify your opponent with it. You can start to make him affect the gameplay. It creates a problem. The opponent thinks I've got to have to deal with that there, but it's a one-hit wonder with that thing. So not so sure. I'm sure there's stories out there in games where guard players have used it and done horrendous damage, or maybe you wish you'd never taken it when it misses after all that effort and points. So that's the last entry there. There's some HQ entries to cover. Just on some of the characters that you can take. I'm a huge fan of Commissar Yarrick, just love the model, and I think he's pretty decent in the game as well. So he is 145 points, not too bad. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength 3, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 4+ save for him. He's got preferred enemy orcs, Iron Will. So we'll look up these here. Power Claw, so he's a double his strength, strength 6, AP 2. His Unwieldy is going to go last. He has the Draconian Disciplinarian, their warlord trait, Aura of Discipline. These are your rules for your commissars. Chain of Command. Eternal Warrior, so very, very helpful indeed. It's a worry of toughness 3 and 4, but he has Eternal Warrior. Senior Officer, Summary Execution, just all the usual stuff, and then Voice of Command. I will, if Yarrick loses his last wound, place him on his side instead of removing him at the start of your next turn. Roll d6 on a 3+, he regains a single win. Previous position is possible to remove 1 inch from any mod when possible terrain, or 1 or 2 is removed as a casualty. I think that's every turn, every time it happens. Just 3+, get up, 3+, get up. Fun, good fun. The Bulleye is strength 6, range 6, strength 3, AP 3, and pistol. Okay, and then a power field. He does have a 4+ invuln. So I rate him. I think he's really cool. Do think he's cool. He's really good. But again, if you want to go down that route of taking a really good combat guy, it's not quite the idea I'm going for, but yeah, it's good fun. So then have Creed and Iron Hand Strachan. Creed here will cost you 80 points here. Okay, 80 points, not too bad. Couple of rules. If Creed is your warlord, he receives 2 warlord traits instead of the usual 1. I used to get to roll them up, that's good. And then we'll look up these here. This might be more the avenue that suits what I'm going for here. 3 wounds, leadership 10, 4 up save. Colour Sergeant Kell. All cost you 75. Okay, if you're gonna have him as well. He's got the regimental standard, which you pay for anyway. Voice of command. Supreme Commander, Krieg can issue up to 3 orders a turn. Krieg can issue orders that can only be issued by models of senior officer special. Failed orders issued by Krieg must be re-rolled. Tactical Genius is 2 warlord traits instead of 1. You can either roll twice on the same warlord traits table or once each on 2 different warlord traits tables. Pretty good. Pretty good. Stick him in your command team. Or have him instead of a command team. Yeah, okay. Pretty good. Kel, listen up, maggots. This is for Kel here. Sergeant Kel, 75 points. If Kel is in the same unit as Creed, leadership tests for orders issued by Creed can be taken on Kel's leadership, not that of the ordered unit. He's leadership 8. Yes, okay. Look out. If a wound is allocated to a character in this model's unit other than a model with a special rule, that character automatically passes. Look out, sir. Okay. Sworn Protector. Kel must declare a glorious intervention whenever possible and will automatically pass the test to take the place of a friendly character in ongoing challenge. Okay. And then Kel has those rules. Power Fist. Power Sword. A lot of stuff for him. Only 2 attacks though. 2 wounds, 4 up save. Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Next one then, after this, is Iron Hand Strachan. He'll cost you 130 points. He comes with 3 wounds, toughness 4, strength 6. That's the cyborg arm looking guy. He does have the warlord trait, implacable determination. Shotgun, close combat weapon, refractor field, frag grenades. There's some, yes, 3+ save, leadership 9, weapon skill 5. Yeah, there's smash, special rule as well, voice of command, and senior officer, monster hunter. And then he has cold steel and courage. Colonel Strike and all friendly units within 6 of him have counterattack and furious charge. Cool. This is the type of one you want to drop into your opponent's deployments, you know, put him in a Valkyrie. Colonel Striker must always issue and accept a challenge whenever possible. Okay. Next one, Nork, Dead Dog. 3 wounds for him, 4 attacks, just an upgraded Ogren. He's 85 points. He has Feel No Pain. Ripper gun, frag grenades, okay. Stubborn, and then a few others here for him as well. Heroic Sacrifice. If he loses his last win in close combat, immediately make his full complement of attacks against the unit that killed him. At the same initiative step, his attacks can be exchanged for thunderous headbutt as described below. Not re-rolls, fail to hit and to wound rolls. Yeah, it's really a melee type guy, it's not really the route I'd go down. Loyal to the end, he must declare a glorious intervention. Okay. Thunderous headbutt. +3 strength, so strength 8, AP3. Melee and concussive. It's a single attack. Yeah, you can use it for headbutting carnifexes and so on, but okay, so that's them. Don't really fit the philosophy there, apart from Creed. Sounds pretty good. So just Pask, I'm not sure if I've covered him already. So look him up, here he is. So he's just like an even better tank commander. So he is 1 tank commander will be upgraded to Commander Pask. So I think you pay the 30 and +40, I believe. A fair old amount, but he is good. Old grudges. Just look up old grudges here. That's a trait. Oh, preferred enemy, him and his unit. Right, okay, so your squadron of tanks now gain preferred enemy. Pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay, and he's fixed on that, so he's not going to lose it. Crack shot. Shots made by Parsley and Ross can re-roll arm penetration rolls against vehicles, including glancing or penetrating hits, but the second result must be kept. Right, really good. Furthermore, the turret-mounted weapon of Parsley vehicle gains an additional benefit. So you choose. When firing a battle cannon, vanquish a battle cannon, demolish a siege cannon, eradicator, pass can re-roll to hit. Okay. An exterminator autocannon, punish a Gatling cannon fired has rending. Okay, decent enough. And then when firing an execution plasma cannon, Pask may choose to fire an incandescent plasma blast instead of using the normal profile, and has the following profile here: strength 7, AP2, range 36, heavy one, large blast, blind, and gets hot. Okay, so a fair few points to take that. Yeah, a fair few points. But I've heard people saying that Pask is brilliant if used well, and the right configuration for him. Also, we've covered all of these here for those HQs. So there's Pask, and then we're on to the weaponry here. We've gone through those as we've gone along. Melee weapons, heirlooms of conquest to cover here. Right, so this is for your commander to take. So tactical auto reliquy of Tiberius. Enroll a leadership test for orders issued by an officer with this. Power any successful leadership tests that result in a double will count as inspired tactic. So if you roll a double 1, you still benefit from the inspired tactic. The officer was accidentally shut the device out of the Vox network. It may no longer be used this game. Right. So I don't expect to cost too much. 25 points. Oh. Okay, probably wouldn't bother with that one. Any double? Yeah. The Laurels of Command. Whenever a friendly unit from the Codex is within 6, is required to make a morale check. The bearer of the Laurels may choose whether they pass or fail. However, if the model with the Laurels is removed as a casualty, or you must take penny. Yeah, don't think I'll bother with that one. Laurels of Command. 25 points for that one. Kurov's Aquila. The officer and all friendly units of the Codex within 6 have preferred enemy. In addition, the bearer may reroll a single failed leadership test per turn. Preferred enemy. You know, you take your command Chimera, take this, and then a load of heavy weapons bases. Will gain that. Preferred enemy, maybe. Would be really good. 60 points. Okay, company commander only. Still might be worth taking. Okay, Blade of Conquest. It's a melee weapon here. It's +1 strength, AP3 Mastercraft. Okay, and that will cost 25 points. God, I think it's worth that. The Emperor's Benediction, range 12, strength 5, AP4 pistol, precision shot, Mastercrafted. Don't think I'll bother with that. It's only 5 points though, not too much. Death Mask of Orlanius. The bearer of the Death Mask gains a 4+ invuln save and has It Will Not Die. And Fear, again, if you're trying to do melee equipment, 30 points for that. So I mean, you can start ploughing points into the areas that isn't strong for Imperial Guard. I think massed ranks, tank support, artillery support, well organised network of command, I think is the way to go. Yeah, I think demolishes is really, I think, is important. You know, you aggressively move out, your opponent sends strong stuff against you. You need stuff that's going to be able to take out anything, whatever's being thrown at you. So that's those. I don't think I'll bother with many of them there at all, and then you just shoot your summon at the back just there. So that's Imperial Guard. I think they're fascinating to collect. Quite a fair bit of painting to do, but if you find a good scheme for them, and then paint them, you get good at doing the units. I would go for a simple colour scheme. If you check out the painting tutorial, it is a simple, I think it's the fastest painting tutorial on the channel, I believe, and it's deliberately that way. It's so that you can, there's nothing worse. You've got 50 guardsmen to paint. It takes you ages just to paint 10. Nothing worse than that, but still you want to get nice results. That's what that painting tutorial is all about. You can mix the colours up, do your own colour scheme, just change the washes and the colours around, no problem at all. And the beauty of Imperial Guard, I think, is the rank and file. Just legions of men and tanks, all with their numbers and symbols on the side. I think just look fantastic. So, but I think the plan, if I did Imperial Guard again, would be a backline, nice heavy artillery fire support, can support any part of the table, and then an infantry and tank advance to be sort of to move out to the middle of the table, be aggressive that way. But leave your comments, what philosophy you think works well for the Imperial Guard, what lists and what army configurations do well for you, and then pick out your favourite units as well. So that's the Codex review. As I said, I got mine from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop 15% off, and then have 5% off on top of that if your order comes to over £100, and there's free postage in the UK if your order comes to over £40 as well. But there it is, the ASTRA Militarum or Imperial Guard Codex review. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.